What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Save Point Vids. The Save Point Vids podcast. I forgot what I was going to say. I am Josh. As always, I've got Sean, Chase, and Leo here. If you are joining us for the first time, this is our weekly video game focused podcast. We're going to break down not only what we've been playing, but also the biggest news to kind of hit the video game industry in the last week. If you like the sound of that, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, most importantly, tell a friend. If you don't want to look at us, hey, I can't blame you. Go ahead and check us out then on podcast services. All you have to do is search the Save Point Vids podcast on all major podcast services, and you can find us there. Leave us good reviews. Leave us good reviews. Give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's start with what we've been playing first. I know we typically do that at the end, but what have you guys been gaming?
I'm trying to think.
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Season
grinding
2.
that Damascus camo.
So same thing on my side.
Well, I've been playing, well, not so much since Season 2 of Modern Warfare came out, but Season 4 of Apex, I played that for the first, 3 days or so.
How's that been?
It's fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't played. I mean, I played a little bit when Season 3. Fucking lens just fell out. I haven't played.
These are fake lenses.
I haven't played Apex since Season 3 started, so it was. I thought about jumping back into Season 4, but with Season 2 of Modern Warfare coming out, I decided not to.
Yeah, I mean, I was tiring and getting bored with Season 1 of Modern Warfare, so I picked up Apex.
So with the with the roadmap that they've laid out for Season 2 so far, are you any more excited about any of the changes, the new maps? The classified mode is obviously supposed to be the Battle Royale.
I'm excited for the Battle Royale. It's rumored to be called Warzone.
Right.
And it's actually rumored to be free to play, which means that you won't have to own the game to play it.
I did not know that. So it would be like a separate mode if you wanted to download it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense. I mean, with Apex and Fortnite and stuff.
Come here.
But
that's cool.
Chill.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It gets bland very quickly.
I thought about downloading that because it was free on for people who have PS Plus right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Apex? Is that what you guys talking about?
Oh,
yeah. No, that is free. No, we were talking about
you could download it. I never really have anybody to play with, so I'm always playing with randoms, and that gets boring. That's probably why I stopped playing it.
I could jump in with you. I just have to re-download it. But yeah, that's the reason. That's one of the reasons I stopped, is because it was. Yeah, it gets boring if you're not really talking to anybody, which is what I never do if I'm not playing with somebody I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fun. I like the changes to the map more than it was the original map for Season 3 was.
Right.
Like, they added this new, tower. It's called, a planet harvester. It's just, this new structure, and it caused, a crack throughout, a big part of the map. So where, Capital City used to be, a lot of it's destroyed now, which I like, because there's too many buildings.
Yeah.
Talking about Apex?
Yeah. There's too many buildings, so it's, a lot more open now, so it forces gunfights a lot more. Because, there were matches in Season 3 where there's a team in each building. There was multiple teams. There's one match where it's there's a team camping on the first floor of a building, there's a team on the second floor, and there's a team on the third floor.
Was it very Stalingrad?
Yeah, I was just but yeah, so I like the changes more. I'm excited for the second part of Season 4 when they bring back Kings Canyon.
Right, so they're breaking it up
into 2 parts.
I do remember them saying that, which I think that's kind of interesting, a way to stand out from the typical just Season 1, Season 2.
Which is really it's almost it's just 2 separate seasons, because they're resetting the ranks. The ranked mode is going to be reset at the end of the Part 1 and stuff like that. But, yeah, so that's pretty much all I've been playing of those 2.
I mean, I've been playing, I've been playing 2 things. One of them mostly is Season 2 of Modern Warfare. Man, I told you this right before we started recording. I hated Rust before. I still hate it now. I cannot stand I
Rust.
cannot
I've
stand
always
that
liked
map.
Rust.
I think it plays the best out of any of like the maps, like the multiplayer
I
maps.
don't know, man. Like, I don't know, and I haven't really had this complaint as of late, but the spawns are just way off on that one. I was telling Chase before we started recording, I think it was Domination, and they must have had it. I'm trying to think of which 2 flags they had, but they must have had it to where we were spawning. Our team was spawning in like the front half of the map where all the structures are. You know how like the back half of the map where C is, it's like all open space. So we were spawning on the opposite end of the map. What happened is that, and this happened multiple times, is where I would die somewhere in that area, and I would literally respawn right where I died.
Yeah, it's very easy to get spawn trapped.
And
For me, that happens on every map.
But I haven't noticed it as much. I don't know. But it really frustrated me because it happened multiple times in the same map, or the same match.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty much what I expect from every map.
Have you guys played the new one, the Superstore, or whatever it is? It's supposed to be like a Sam's Club or something.
It's
Yeah,
alright.
it's
It's
exactly
really
like Home
big.
Depot.
Oh, is
It doesn't really play well on 6v6.
I like the map though. It's really cool.
So what is it more suited for? You think?
It's for 6v6 and 10v10. So
It's
they have
better for 10v10 though.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bigger map.
even on 10v10, it's still.
Because what I heard,
Plays
because
a little
I have
slow.
yet to come across it yet. So what
I played it a handful of times.
from what I understand, there's like a couple of like the main shopping aisles that are like the long, whatever choke points, and then there's like rooms on the perimeter of the map. Is that right?
Yeah, you can also like go up into like the
air ducts or something. The rafters,
like the pallets.
Yeah.
Like all the products.
Just imagine if
frames.
a bomb was like detonated inside of a Sam's Club, and
that's what
the
it
map.
looks like. Okay, that makes sense.
I always wanted to do that at work, was play paintball
I
in
thought
the
you were going to
warehouse.
say bomb at Sam's Club.
No, I mean, it would be good. Because I always thought it would be a cool place to have a paintball match.
It would be.
That would be cool.
Just covered everything up.
Yeah, that would be sweet. But yeah, other than that, I started picking up. I wanted like an RPG to play, so I re-downloaded Final Fantasy VIII. I downloaded, I got it day one when they re-released it and remastered it for PS4, but I never finished it, so I'm gonna go back and just kind of knock that out.
I still haven't finished it on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean obviously I beat it before, so I know what to expect. So but I was just like, I want something that I can just, when I'm not in the mood to play Modern Warfare, I can just kind of turn on and kind of sink some time into.
Yeah, I grinded that like the first week they released it, like re-released it.
Mm-hmm.
I grinded it for like a week. Got to the very end, right before Ultimisia's castle, and then I just stopped playing it. Never picked it back up.
Didn't you do that with? You did that with another game.
Octopath Traveler, Fire Emblem.
Just finish these games. You can knock these
I
off.
do that with RPGs too.
You just get burnt out, man.
Yeah. Did you ever finish
JRPGs and specifically? But no, I haven't picked that up since. They're long games.
You might want to knock these out before Final Fantasy VII comes out and just be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, but then you got like...
You should just rotate it where you're like playing one game for like an hour, 2 hours, and switch to another game.
I can't do that, because...
I mean, it sounds like you're pretty much doing it now, but it's like longer periods.
Well, it's because there's just... Like Apex and COD, they're... Especially for what I want in COD is to get Damascus. It's a big time investment.
Yeah, it is. There's no doubt about that.
And I'm so close that like I don't feel like playing anything else, but like I'm getting burnt out on COD. But I want to finish it because I've come too far to not get Damascus. I've gotten platinum for everything except launchers.
Really?
So I just got to finish the launchers, and then I got Damascus.
Okay, fair enough. What about you guys? What have you guys been playing?
Same thing. I beat a game recently, but I don't remember what it was.
Last time we talked, what was
Doom?
it? You were playing.
I beat Doom. The Doom's on Game Pass. The first Doom, 2016. I beat that.
Was that your first time playing it?
That was, yeah.
It's good. It's really good. I'm really excited for Doom
I don't remember shit about the original Doom, but it felt like Doom.
You just don't stop moving.
Yeah, you just don't stop moving.
Yeah,
and
just
shoot
shoot and
everything
stop
that moves. I have seen some stuff. I wish I could get the new one because it looks like way better.
Doom Eternal, yeah.
Like way better movement and like
Right.
weapons and stuff. But
I think
just
you get like a hook
save
shot
the
on
money
this
for
one.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
See, I downloaded BioShock, all 3 games.
Did you? Have you started it?
Not yet.
Dude, just fucking play those games.
I've downloaded Sims 4.
Have you started that?
No, not yet.
That's what I do. Dude. I
So what
have a
happened?
shitload of games that I just don't play from Game Pass.
I've been playing Fallout 4.
Okay.
So I just wanted to go back to it. It's been a while.
I thought about downloading Fallout 4 too.
I couldn't get into
I
it.
just-
I played it for. I mean, I gave it a good shot. I gave it 25 hours or 30 hours, but it was just not.
I never actually really played it.
It just
other than
never-
a few hours.
It
so.
never,
Well, I
don't know
did
why,
it. I
just
did
didn't
it, and
grab me.
I downloaded it because it was free, but the DLCs wasn't free. So I bought the Game of the Year
Oh,
one
edition.
so I
yeah.
can get the
DLC.
DLC.
Yeah.
So I have an extra copy of
Fallout
Fallout 4 if you guys want to download it and play it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I really want to see what Bethesda does going forward because I
I think they know that they majorly fucked up with 76.
well, that's what I mean. Like
I feel like
really
many developers know that they fucked up this generation.
Well, that's what I
You
mean.
know what I
Like
mean?
I want to know with them specifically because there was obviously between Elder Scrolls 4 and 5, even after 5 came out, Fallout 3, they were like at the top of like the Western RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had games like Witcher 3 come out. You had Obsidian do their thing with like Fallout New Vegas,
Mhm.
which a lot of people think is like the best Fallout game. And so it seems like they're almost like being left behind a little bit and that they need to innovate. So I'm interested to see, when they, obviously they'll have their E3 press conference like they do every year.
Yeah.
What are they going to announce? What's it going to look like?
I'd like to see some Starfield stuff because I'm sure that's coming out before.
Starfield's supposed to be,
6.
Starfield's supposed to be next year, 2021.
Yeah,
so it
so
would
I'd
be,
really like to see just a trailer or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's kind of like still a slow period. Just like I said, downloading old games.
Although tomorrow the beta for, I don't know if you guys know about it, but Bleeding Edge. Have you heard of that game?
Yes.
Ninja Theory.
Yeah. That's a battle
on-
royale, right?
No, it's online like I guess you
Arena.
could say Overwatch, but it's like melee mixed with
Yeah,
shooting.
I did hear. Yeah.
So I won't be playing that tomorrow
Okay.
as open beta. So it looks really cool.
Now is that? Oh, Ninja Theory, so that's Xbox only.
Yeah,
Okay.
and PC.
PC, right. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. Let me know what you think of that then.
Yeah.
Anything else before we kind of move on?
No.
Nope. All right, so let's jump right into the news then. This is in no particular order, and again, just as always, there wasn't like a ton of stories as far as like the amount, the number, but there is some interesting stuff in here regardless. But as always, we will play. What do we end up calling it? Pass or play? I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, we're
Sucker rule.
basically I'm gonna name I'm gonna read the headline and maybe a quick sentence or two about the story. If it sounds interesting and we want to elaborate on it, we'll stop, give our impressions and our thoughts about it. If it's not something that we have too much to say, we don't want to waste your time, so we'll just kind of skip on to the next story after that. The first one is Gears of War boss will join Blizzard to oversee the Diablo franchise. Do we want to play this one or do we want to pass?
I mean, I don't play those games, so.
I love Diablo and I love Gears, so that's cool beans for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say.
Okay. All right, next one. Xbox boss doesn't consider Nintendo or Sony as their biggest competitors.
I read a little bit of that, and I think they're right that they're not going against the console wars anymore.
Right.
It's more of like streaming for them.
Yeah, it's more
How to get to
like
7 billion.
and
He
10
says, I want to figure out how to
10 years from now.
get to 7 billion people.
Because Google and rumor has it that Amazon's cooking up something too,
Right.
obviously.
Well,
like you
Amazon's gonna
said.
do something.
Right. And they're looking at the big global picture.
Right.
And
And it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
they've invested. He says they've invested tens of billions of dollars into Azure, which is like the backbone of their like streaming
which
service.
PlayStation uses. So they're thinking along the same lines.
Right.
Nintendo is just always going to be Nintendo. I think. I don't know if how long it's going to take them to get to cloud streaming, but it'll happen eventually.
It will happen because they can't build a bigger and more powerful computer at that budget that they want to have that price point.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. Nintendo's always had, with rare exception, they've never really had the most powerful hardware.
Not since the N64, I think, was a little bit stronger than
I think probably GameCube.
Oh, yeah, GameCube.
Yeah.
Which I think...
was stronger than the PlayStation, but it wasn't as strong as the Xbox.
I think it was kind of the middle. I think it was in the middle of the two. Or maybe it was more equivalent to the Xbox and the PS2.
I can't. It was a long time ago, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they've always prided themselves on not gimmicks, but like different ways of playing, fun games, fun factor over the technical aspects of the obviously of the console. But yeah, I'm interested. I like what he's saying because it makes sense. It shows you obviously the direction, and that Microsoft is heading. I think a lot of it, if you read between the lines, and it's not to say that he's wrong, because I don't think he is, but I think with the way that the Xbox One family of consoles sold versus the PS4, I think there's a little bit, if you read between the lines, that they're not, because they did get outsold this generation, it's easy for him to say that, Sony's no longer, a direct competitor. But when you really think about it, when they're wanting to get to 7 billion people, they just had the iOS, was it xCloud on iOS or something, just launched within the last couple of days. So
I'm still trying to get into that damn xCloud beta.
Yeah. If you do, obviously, let us know. I would love to hear your impressions on that. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm interested. There's so many different cool aspects with the next generation coming up. That how's Sony going to respond to all this? How's can Microsoft pull it off? And if they do, what does that mean? Does Sony change course on what? You know what I mean? There's just so much back and forth that's possible.
I think Sony will eventually get to that point where they're going to be thinking about cloud-based.
Oh yeah.
And they have a little bit,
but not as much as Xbox is right now.
And so if, here in the United States, we also have to remember that we're lucky enough to live near a major metro area, that there are still hundreds of millions of people that live out in the middle of nowhere that don't have access to internet speeds big enough or large enough to. It's just not. They don't even. They can't even download games, let alone stream at 1080 or 4K. And so how does that come into play versus what I mean?
Right. I'll let the
I think
smart IT guys figure that shit out.
It'll be more to the point where they're providing free internet. Those guys are. Google is.
All right. So the next story. This is a big one. I want to talk about this one. Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser is leaving the company. Did you guys see this, first of all?
Yeah.
So what was your initial impressions on just the headline and kind of what you knew about the story?
I don't know why he left or if he left to go to another company.
But it didn't say.
I didn't say.
I never I'm not one of those people. I don't really ever freak out the big guy's leaving now.
Right.
They're smart business dudes, and they're not going to leave the company or leave their development team in shambles.
Right.
Because the next job that they go to get, that's just going to look really bad on them. They want to leave it. They always leave it in good hands.
Right.
Well, at least what they think are in good hands.
My initial thought, there's a couple different aspects to this. He's been basically on sabbatical with Rockstar since Red Dead 2 shipped, which was last year, obviously, in the fall of 2018.
You just didn't come back?
I typically, that's the thing. It's
magnum opus.
I don't see him going anywhere else. That's the thing. I don't know if he's maybe he was forced out behind the scenes.
I don't think so. He probably just wanted to take a break.
Or now he's worth tens of millions of dollars, and he's just I'm done. Because you have to imagine after you get, and obviously we don't know that, and I don't know that personally, but you have to imagine after you get to a certain level of wealth, like you have to have a really big creative drive to keep going, because there's no real practical reason for you to keep working.
Right.
It's not like you need to do it to make ends meet at that point. You really want to create something. Maybe he's just kind of burnt out and done.
That's kind of a lot of these developers and big dudes. They just don't feel like doing it no more.
He's been the writer on several, most of the big games: Red Dead 1, 2, the the Grand Theft Auto games on PS2, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, he's been the creative force behind most of the games that we associate with Rockstar. I'm with you for the most part that if somebody leaves, like the head of the company leaves to go somewhere else. But with this, it kind of makes me, I don't want to say it makes me nervous, but it's interesting to see where they're going to go from here.
Right.
Because the characters and the stories that we love about those games, he really was like the center of that. And to see that creative force kind of, leave.
Yeah.
Does that mean, and I was hearing, I was listening to some other podcasts, somebody was saying, they made up an interesting point, I don't know if I believe it entirely. He's like, with the success of Grand Theft Auto 5 and the online portion, that's where all the money's made. Yes, it sold 120, million copies, but, they've made billions and billions off of the online transactions. Does Take-Two and Rockstar not see a need for these big single-player driven experiences? Therefore, his unique skill set is no longer required. You know what I mean?
No, I think everyone still wants that.
Single player. Yeah.
I think if
just look at Fallout 76.
Yeah.
I mean, people are still looking forward to the new Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
People are already looking forward for like a Red Dead 3 or whatever it may be.
And Rockstar has such a high pedigree, and people expect so much from them that if they just abandon that or didn't take single player experiences seriously, they would just get a lot of backlash.
Yeah. Well, the question is, do you think that? I mean, I understand. There's literally thousands of people that work on Rockstar Games. There was I can't remember. There was several thousand that worked over the course of the development of Red Dead 2. Obviously, he's one of the head honchos. But do you think there is some type of tangible impact on whatever Grand Theft Auto 6? Do you think that there's you would notice, and really obviously we're speculating, but do you think that we would notice a dip in the quality of the writing, which is so highly rated, the character development, the plot?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
I mean, because he had a whole team of writers, and that's just one of them.
He was just one part. He was a big part, but he's just one part.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a team of writers, and I'm sure that they're not all going to jump ship.
If anything, I would say the only impact is maybe those games got pushed back a little bit just to kind of recalibrate the team and get them focused on whatever it is that they're trying to do. But I don't expect a dip in quality.
And I don't think he would leave unless he was sure that they'd be fine without him.
Right.
Well, my only thing to that, yes, I agree. For the most part, the only thing that I would think about that is that Rockstar, and I say controversy in quotes because I don't think it was really a big controversy, but there was a lot of people in the games media arena that was because I'm sure you guys know, they were talking about crunch and working 100 hours up to and that he was a big part of that, and that he would work 100 hours a week. The rumor is, or the story is that literally the script for Red Dead 2 was stacked from the floor to the ceiling. That's how many pages it was. Because
I wouldn't be surprised.
That,
every
that's what I mean.
dialogue.
And so, 100 hours and this and that.
Probably embellish a little. I don't think they'd keep it in one stack if it was.
Well, you know what I mean. But, and the only thing I say to that is these guys are making six-figure bonuses. I'm talking about
more than that.
I'm talking about the mid-level and entry-level guys.
Yeah.
Everybody was bitching about how they don't want to do crunch and work. But if I knew that I was getting $150,000 bonus,
all right, and that's just part of the industry. Period. It's always been that way.
I agree.
It's kind of like
people, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but nobody's holding a gun to your head. Right. If you don't want to work those hours, then don't be in the industry.
Right.
If this is supposed to be your passion, then do it.
Exactly. I mean, there's a reason why Rockstar is held to the
high standard.
Them or Naughty
Dog are like the two top tier developers.
And I think if Cyberpunk is as good as everybody thinks it's going to be, CD Projekt Red,
they could be up there.
I think they'll be up there.
That third, yeah. But it'll be interesting. I want to see what they're working on next, whether it's GTA 6 or...
I'm thinking GTA 6.
Bully 2 or...
I would like to see them do something different, but...
Well, there was a talk, I can't remember, I think it was on an earnings call with Take-Two, who obviously owns Rockstar. They were basically saying that, and this could also fit into this whole story, is that this, one game a generation thing is just not working. Yeah. Even though it's making like a ton of money, they want more. And so, if they can sell 29 million of Red Dead 2, which is what it sold so far, but if they're able to do that twice, obviously with the Rockstar name behind it, and sell 2 games of 29 million,
right?
This whole taking 6, 7, 8 years to develop a game is just not.
Right.
So does that make it? Do we see a smaller scale title like a Bully 2?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe like just a smaller team, because they still have fill in the gaps between major releases.
I mean, they have 2 main studios. They have Rockstar North, which is the one that did Red Dead, which is based in California, San Diego, or Rockstar San Diego, and then they have Rockstar North, which is based in the UK, that does the GTA games.
So those games still release really far apart.
I mean, but again, you got to remember, Red Dead is the only game that they've released this gen.
Yeah.
GTA 5 came out in 2013.
Oh, God, yeah. I forget.
It was last gen.
I remember I had it on the 360, actually.
It came out last gen, and it's still the best-selling PlayStation.
I know I heard somewhere that, I don't remember where, that they might be working on some kind of medieval game, Rockstar.
Really?
Yeah, and I know I'm not making that up, because I know I read that somewhere, but it was just like a one-off article.
Yeah, I'd be down for like a medieval
GTA.
GTA. Because I mean that's what Red Dead is. It's just a Wild West GTA. So I'd be down for a medieval.
Grand Theft Horses.
Okay, so the next story: PS5 price is quote a balancing act and quote may be influenced by Xbox Series X price.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to skip over this, or we want to elaborate?
I don't think
there's much to elaborate on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just expected in my book.
Ubisoft confirms 5 AAA games planned for release in late 2020/early 2021.
That seems like a lot of games to put out in a short period of time.
Right.
I feel like that's not really a good move.
So let's think about it.
I mean, they haven't. Really.
So there's 5 games. They've confirmed that one of them will not be Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Right.
So what does that leave? That leaves
Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs Legion, that one, Gods, like the one that looks like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Gods and...
Like it's about the Greek gods or something like that. Is there another Rabbids game that I don't know about?
Maybe.
What was the other one? Oh, Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Okay.
Gods and Monsters. And then you have to assume that the 5th one would be maybe a new Far Cry.
Yeah.
The only reason... So, yeah, I would normally say that 5 would be a lot. However, they could do the Ubisoft thing where, like, there's an Assassin's Creed that's only for last gen, and there's one that's only for next gen. Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, they could also push those games.
Yeah.
Especially Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. Since they just released, this past year?
Well, Assassin's Creed hasn't come out since 18, so they're due for a new Assassin's Creed. But yeah, I mean, you have your open world action RPG, you have your shooter in Far Cry, you have your
RPG,
you have your tactical shooter
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six.
Is that a brand new game or is that like an expansion pack? Rainbow Six.
That's a brand new game.
So.
It has nothing to do...
It's like a tactical zombie
It has
shooter.
nothing to do... Yeah, it's supposed to take zombie.
It's like Rainbow Six Siege.
I thought it was
Rainbow
like
Six Siege. No, with like Rainbow Six Siege.
I think it's like
tactical.
like
instead of run and gun, like
Siege meets like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was the same game, but an expansion pack or something.
But yeah, I mean, so that'll be interesting. The only thing, it would be, obviously you wouldn't want to release Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs next to each other. You might want one in the fall, one in the spring.
Right, because
those
they're kind
like
of the same open world.
Same thing with like shooters. You probably want to separate those.
I'm really excited to see that Gods and Monsters game. I like games like that, and we haven't seen really anything since the very first trailer.
But I mean, they're smart in the sense that launch games sell because people want to justify their new purchase, so they just buy even of games that they're not necessarily interested in.
Right.
They just buy it. So I mean, having potentially 2, 3, 4 launch games just from Ubisoft could work out really well for them.
Yeah, until they don't release anything for the next 4 years.
But that's the other side of the coin is that they don't have anything until 2022 or 2023.
Until they come out with the Assassin's Creed Ninjas.
It'll never happen. It should, but
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. They made note that Skull and Bones, that what's the one, Sea of Thieves? The Sea of Thieves kind of type game has been delayed indefinitely.
The game looked really cool, but
it did,
yeah.
So who knows? And then again, Beyond Good and Evil 2, I don't think that game is ever going to happen.
That's like in Half-Life 3 limbo right
now. So the next story is Xbox boss Phil Spencer clarifies controversial VR comments.
I don't really care. I don't use VR, but
all right.
I know what he said.
Mother plays with deceased daughter in VR recreation. I guess it could be recreation.
I think it does count as recreation.
I'll just say real quick that I find it strange and counterproductive.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't judge that lady. Like, who am I?
Because I don't know what she's going through, but that's you. I think you need to.
I think that.
I guess maybe it depends on how much you're doing it. Maybe if.
Well, I think no matter how much you're doing it, if it starts off as a little, but then it starts to consume.
Let me read this real quick. So, a grieving mother was recently given the chance to be reunited. And I got this from IGN. To be reunited with a recreation of her deceased daughter in virtual reality. Jang Ji-sung's daughter, Nayeon, died in 2016 from an incurable disease at the age of 7. The video of Ji-sun interacting with her deceased daughter was aired as part of a South Korean documentary on February the 6th. The team behind the documentary spent 8 months creating the VR recreation of her daughter. In the documentary clip linked above, so basically it just goes into kind of what she broke down when she saw it for the first time. So not necessarily that story, but what does that mean for VR and AR going forward? That's the big question.
We're going into some crazy
the Matrix type stuff.
It's getting to this Black Mirror episode, where everything's going to be in virtual reality.
Yeah, people aren't going to interact with each other anymore. They'd rather interact with their own ideal version of a person or something like that. Yeah,
so it was just, that's kind of the reason I brought it up, is not necessarily this story specifically, but just kind of what it means. Because I always thought that, the most exciting ideas about VR are way outside of gaming. It's about, what if, you could, and they've been doing this already, but what if you could get front row seats to your concert, to your favorite band, or a basketball or a football game, and sit courtside.
It'd be cool, but it still doesn't. It's not the same.
I'm not saying it's the same. You would pick that, but if you, if you couldn't go, or if your band, isn't coming around here, then it might be an option for you. Or
it'll be just like the Matrix. You're just plugged into the system.
Yeah. I guess for some people, but at that point, it's just
Or what if?
To me, it'd be the same as looking up the concert on YouTube and watching it on a YouTube video. It's that's how I feel like it would be. But to each their own. If that's what somebody would want to do, watch it in VR.
Or what if I always thought it would be cool to if NASA, has cameras attached to their helmet, and you could like jack into their, into their feed, and then look around at what, what I mean, like if the
like a security hazard,
it's something like that. Like like I said, I think that the applications for VR are so much cooler outside of video games.
Now, once they start pairing that with like haptic feedback suits, then everybody's not going to.
I do have to say, I did try a VR. I did try a VR unit, and there was with NBA League Pass. They do have cameras set up where you could sit courtside. Obviously, it's not the same as being there.
I don't know if I want to watch a basketball game,
but it's
VR.
It's pretty cool though. Just like even just for like the novel. Yeah. The novel of the how novel the idea is. It is cool to like be able to look around and turn around and actually see something. See the crowd behind you. It's a little weird, but it is kind of cool to experience it at least once, just to see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just to see what it's.
I remember like seeing those like commercials.
You have like the 5.1 surround sound, so you get the sound of the crowd around you.
But I remember seeing like those commercials. It was like. You watch a movie in a virtual theater with other people.
Right.
That's weird. That's weird. Why don't you just watch a movie in your house? Like, at that point, like, why would you want to be in a...
Everyone's trying to get plugged in. So
like, why would you want to be in a virtual theater with other people?
Just go to a regular human movie theater.
Or just, like, watch the movie at your house, or... I don't know.
I don't know. The theater at Uber Heights is pretty nice.
The Rave, that is a nice theater. I like that one a lot. You got the reclining seats and everything.
Yeah, dude, I haven't even been to the Regal since.
Oh yeah,
in like 6 or 7 years.
All right, last story. Actually, second to last story. New Final Fantasy VII Remake. Screenshots show Red 13, side quests, and more.
I haven't. I'm going to look at them now because I have not.
The only reason I brought this up
is
because they introduce a new character, but the most interesting thing is. They show you a couple of the menu screens with like side quests on them, and so it looks like for them, I don't know if you can zoom in, but it has like a quest option in the menu system, so and it looks like a bunch of side quests, but it's obviously I think that's going to be one of the main ways they probably add the story a little bit,
I don't care, dude. The longer I can stay at 7, dude, the better.
I'm excited, but I don't want them to pad it just...
To pad it?
Yeah, just to pad it, just to make the game longer.
I would rather have
if it expands on, like, the story or the lore of the already built, like...
Or if it's just really cool side quests.
Yeah, like, something that just, like, gives you a better...
There's one that's called Rat Problem, which it sounds like you're going to...
Kill some rats
and like.
But if it fleshes out the characters' like personalities and stuff more, then I'm all for it. But if it's just like go clear out these rats and then that's it.
My guess is probably going to be clear out the rats and that's it.
For
some of them,
for some of them, not
all the side quests. I'm sure.
I wasn't like saying like that one specifically. I'm just saying if that's like how all of them are.
Or maybe clearing out the rat in the group. So.
But yeah, so I mean,
if I don't care, it's 7, so I'm excited. More stuff to do. I'm all for it.
Very cool. And then the last one I have is probably, I wouldn't say the topic of the show, not that we have one necessarily, but and I didn't put this in there, but there was I can't remember where I read it. There was a recent article that I saw, maybe it was Game Industry Biz, that said Nintendo is already seeing Switch production delays because of the coronavirus in China.
Yeah.
Obviously at Foxconn, that's where most of the electronics that we use are built. But they made an interesting point that, these consoles have to be manufactured probably starting very soon just to have enough in time for the launch this fall. If they can't get it contained, there have been over, at this point, over 1,100 deaths. There's been over 30,000 confirmed cases. The vast majority of those in China.
I mean, those viruses don't live in mechanical stuff. As long as they don't sneeze in it.
But the thing is that, so it's not the hardware. It's, are they going to have enough people to manufacture these consoles?
Right.
Are they going to have the manpower to actually run these assembly lines And if they don't,
yeah, there's billions.
I was gonna say, man, I think
there's like
people compared to like 3
There's
billion.
almost like 2 billion, and then there's
Yeah.
only been a few thousand deaths, or like not even 2,000 deaths or something like that.
so my question is do you see it? Because it could go one of two ways, really. They could, obviously they could get it contained and everything's, this could be a whole non-story in a week.
Not before the new gen releases. It's not going to be contained for at least like another year.
Yeah, they said there's not going to be a vaccine for about a year.
So my question is if it does get worse, which it will, it seems like, do they maybe manufacture what they can, knowing that full well there's going to be a shortage? Maybe they only manufacture 40 or 50% of what they were supposed to, creating a scarcity, almost like the Wii, where these products are going to be such hot sellers and so rare that they're guaranteed to fly off of shelves for the next 18, 24 months until they can get production back up and running at 100%. Or do they just delay it until maybe spring next year?
No.
I don't see them delaying it.
They got to answer to the stockholders. They won't delay it. They'll outsource manufacturing somewhere,
Maybe, but I think they'll ship out what they have.
But I think most likely they'll ship out what they have.
Right.
If there is just a shortage, since Xbox will be multi-platform, maybe just cop that new Series X and then resell it for 10 times.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
and then just wait for them to do it again.
Both
and play
of these
all
consoles are
the
going to
new
be
games on
manufactured.
the Xbox One.
Yeah, both of these consoles will be manufactured in China. So if they both are only able to produce 40%, like I said, 40% of what they would normally do, there are going to be people that buy up multiples and then sell it on eBay for $2,000.
That's why I'm pre-ordering.
If they can, a lot of retailers, they limit it. Like, especially when it's a limited supply, they limit it to one per person.
Right.
So,
but there's always ways around that.
I mean, yeah, you can. But if you want to get like 40, if you want to like recruit 40 people to like buy 40 different consoles for you.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't see them holding out unless it really does. And I mean, we should say, or I should say that this is obviously very serious. There are people losing their lives and all that.
No, we're not saying.
So I'm not,
we're not saying it's not.
No,
serious,
I know, but I'm just like because I was talking about it with somebody, and they're like, it's just video game. And
it's also China's fault, but we're not going to get into that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, unless something catastrophic happens over the next 3 or 4 months, where it just exponentially
turns into the fucking plague overnight.
It's exponential.
Resident Evil.
I do think that they'll probably ship what they have. So if you do want to get one of these consoles day one, chances are you're going to need.
You're going to have to pre-order it. Pre-order that you can
as soon as it goes live.
I never buy new consoles when it first comes out. You always take 6 months to a year to get all the bugs cleared out.
There might have been any Chinese people alive by then.
Jesus Christ.
I'll take my chances.
My plan is to actually get one day one. I would like to get a PS5 like just day one.
So you guys stay away from me. I'll
I'll just wear a surgeon's mask while I open it. But anyway, so yeah, that's all I've got as far as the news. Is there anything that you guys wanted to throw in?
No, I'm just excited for the new Mario themed theme park for Universal.
That does look sweet.
But it's not coming out till over here till 2022, 23.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be at Universal though.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be like its own separate park?
No, it's gonna be Universal.
Yeah, they found some.
Yeah, they have it
or something.
Yeah, the first one's gonna be in Japan, and it's gonna open up in 21. So, yeah, they said it's the way that there's construction is, it's gonna be more than what they paid to do the Harry Potter world.
So it's not crazy.
You know what would be cool is if they had like an obstacle course in the form of a level.
They do.
Like
they
level
have this
1-1 or something.
That would be sweet.
We'll
Got to
like,
jump on
on
gaps and
At Volcano Bay, they have a wristband where you can keep your virtual line. So it'll page you when you're up to go to the ride. They're going to have that kind of technology for Mario, where you go across the theme park and like grab some coins or
That's
do
cool.
some.
That is cool.
Do some, so you're actually playing against other players.
Yeah.
On the
Oh,
rankings
interesting. Okay.
That's cool.
in the park. So
I do like that.
That's a good idea.
Well, anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is everything for this week's episode of the Save Point Podcast. Like I said at the top of the show, if this is your first time, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate the love and support that you guys have shown us. Tell a friend. Hit up the audio version. Give us a good review there. All that good stuff. 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. I think that's everything.
Think so.
All right, guys. Until next time, you guys stay safe.